a Medusa snakes or something. Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
This is inspired by you, Vivienne.
Is it? Well,
Yeah, because I'll tell you why.
that,
Because
yeah.
I'll tell you why. No, it's very specific. You have this button system, and then I was like again with the recycling. Take two shirts, put them together. That's the legs. It has a kind of a Japanese effect in the end, and then you do the Vivienne thing with the buttons, and then it becomes this military, wonderful punk dress. It slouches just great.
It's like a jumpsuit.
It's like a jumpsuit.
I don't know if you ever knew it, but I did do this.
Yeah.
Do your legs through sleeves and everything.
I saw the tank top that you made in one of the collections, Gold Label collections, and that's where I got the idea.
Okay, because the one I've got is this one with, I don't know, it looks a bit like a red Indian thing. It's got those robot type things on this
with the Maasai print
thing that I do. I don't know what it was, I can't remember.
Yeah,
but anyway, and it's really good, but I adapted it a bit because they really are at an angle too tight, and it pulls on the side. So I just changed it a bit, but yeah.
And you remember the knitted jumpsuit, the dark blue one from +5 that you wear? It has a button front.
No, I love that. I wear it all the time.
Really good. It's
yeah.
Like
oh, that's fantastic, that jumpsuit. Yeah.
So what I was going to explain to you and to the video is that to struggle to be a fashion designer and make sustainable clothing is very expensive, to buy the vegetable dyes and to get into it. And I wanted to do it. And my wife had the idea of that I should just collect from the street all the recycled materials and buy as little as possible, and just because there's a lot of free things on the street corners or the thrift shops, and clean them and reuse them. So for example, this is made out of a bed linen that we cleaned, then I printed, and there's only one, this dress. And we went on to think about our lives in that same way with this shop. And because we have an open marriage, she wanted us to live here together and to all kind of commune in here, raise our kids. And I was rebellious against it, but in the end she was right, because I have a less impact on the earth, I have less things, I have less materialistic zeal, because I'm forced to think completely differently. My head doesn't go hot water, because we don't have hot water. We think I have to prepare for my shower, or I have to prepare for cooking, therefore I cannot use the fuel or the energy longer than allowed. So it's almost a military in a way, or camping. And this has affected our lives in the sense that your maxim from the climate revolution, I realized, wait a minute, we are climate revolutionaries right here, and we're doing it, and the park is right there, and the community is kind of sloshing, and we're all kind of doing it together in a way, not because of any purposeful attention until just now, when we suddenly realize we've been doing this for a while. Yeah, we're making less impact, it's made our choices differently.
Yeah.
My wife wanted to build a mezzanine or loft in the back for our kids, and she said, I won't use new wood. And we had arguments, I won't use new wood, we must find all the wood. I go, you're gonna find all the wood all over the streets, and how are you gonna do that? We don't have a car, so I'm gonna find all the wood. She found all the wood, splintery wood, however, and she built this thing. So I started to think about it. There was this great book in the States that came out years ago when we were teenagers about sustainable living. And that was what she kind of grew up like, sustainable living, and how there was a lot of climate revolution going on in the 60s and the 70s actually, and her parents' generation were into that, and she's into that, so we got into it together. And in the end, built this shop, inspired by you, but at the same time inspired by living lives with the consideration of another human being first, if at all possible. And now it's a purposeful thing. Before it wasn't. It was just accident and vanity. But now it's, okay, my living, my less impact will affect another human being because they have seen the example, they see the life, and then children validate somehow this nutness because they go, oh, well, the kids are okay, it must be okay, let's recycle, let's wear the same thing again, let's ship it around, you know. And my customers are very different. So if you want to go in the back, you can see the construction and how we live.
There's two things that you mentioned, and one is that you didn't want this open marriage situation at first.
No.
Okay? But what's really great is that you stayed really friends with your wife, you know, instead of, like you say, having a divorce or whatever, you stayed friends and you've got a great relationship still, whatever you do with other people, so that's fantastic. And the other thing that you mentioned is that this whole street is lots of small shops and people who really care about the environment, and they for example, stopped McDonald's from opening up here, but McDonald's did manage to open up a little bit, very, very tiny, and
further away from what they wanted.
I mean, I think that, it's the day when we've just heard that Jeremy Corbyn has got in the sense that he's got the same power as the Tories. They've got a hung parliament, and that was because of the support of all the young people. And it's the same thing, it's the young people who are environmentally conscious who stopped the McDonald's, and I just think it's brilliant.
They really did, they really did. Let me just show you the back, really quick.
And what I like is you have to show us the raven coat.
Oh, it's right here.
And
so this is inspired by the birds.
I really love this.
This is inspired by the birds that run around the park. They have black and gray feathers, and they're really territorial, and they always come and scream at us, you know, or sit on the cars and scream. And just like a bird, you can put your hands in different positions as if to emulate feathers, you know, in like different ways.
I think this is absolutely great. I think there's ever such a lot of great things in this
Thank
shop.
you. Thank you.
And this is just one of them, and we don't have time to show everybody everything.
But it's all recycled.
It's great. And did people know that there's a World's End shop in Berlin, and that's Johannes who works on World's End, and he's got the shop here. And unfortunately we didn't film it, but this is better. So
but
there
these
we
shops
are.
Have a close connection.
And and also Juan works in the World's End shop some days.
Because we send customers back and forth.
It's true. It's true. Customers come here and they say, wow, and they mention Vivienne, and of course I say, yes, of course I'm inspired by her. And then I say, you should visit the World's End shop, it's not so expensive. And they actually go there and they go, wow, he's right, and they get a shirt. And then later on, when they have an anniversary or big dinner party and they don't want something so crazy, they want something like you, a bit crazy but more classic, they go and they spend the 600 or 500 euros and get it, and they feel good and they feel great, and they've done both, and it's all kind of going back and forth, you know, like that. I feel.
Okay, all right. So let's go to the back.
Here, check out.
And before you go, you've got to show us that this is very. It's all so compacted, living and having a shop here. And actually designing the things. Where do you design them? Because you've just told me these are your silk screens.
These are my
silk screens. As we pass
screen.
by, you'll see the silk screens.
So we have the silkscreen studio, which is just down the street in an old space that I had. We won't go there, and I still rent a little corner of there. I won't show you my office, but I sew and do all the cutting in here, and all the printing and drawing in here as well.
I'd love to have a look. Yeah.
It's a mess, though.
Oh, it's brilliant.
It's
you do
crazy.
all the cutting where exactly?
Well, I hid everything, thinking, because I didn't know you were coming, but I hid everything.
But where do you put the cutting?
I'll show you. I have a little table in the back. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Let me lift this up.
Yeah.
Lights on. Here's a picture
You
of
have
you.
to go in. You have to go in. It's really good.
Here's a picture of you and I when we met, right here, too, and my son over here on this side on the wall. For inspiration, just keeps me focused a bit sometimes. And then over here is like all my ideas. And then I clear the table and do all the cutting there. And I use this table here, Vivienne, that's what I meant to say. This table there.
Oh, yeah. So that's amazing. You just take the cloth off there and do your cutting on that little table in the shop.
Yep.
And you live here and you cook here and you... I thought that's what you've just told us. It's great. And by the way, I only have a bath once a week. And otherwise, I just wash under my arms and else one other place, and that's it.
I listened to what you said about talcum powder, and I actually started doing it. However, it doesn't work so well with men, but maybe with women it's better.
No,
it wash the bras and clothes.
Oh yeah. I sometimes just, instead of washing them, put some talcum powder underneath the t-shirt. Right. But actually, I think the baking soda is even better.
Yeah. That's what Katie said.
Bicarbonate of soda,
not putting
which
baking.
I've just bought. Because the baking soda you can use as as the deodorant and as the toothpaste as well.
That's right, that's
Yeah.
right. Let's go to the back really quick so you can see the living situation. So
And
this
these
is,
are the silk screens, yeah?
These are the
They're
silk
all here,
screens.
all these silk screens, they're all here. Okay. You have to pass by. Oh, we're looking at the silk screens here. Okay.
so this is how we cook. There's less impact because this is the only thing we use. We got rid of this one, we're getting rid of this one. We have one refrigerator. We buy all the food together. She forced me to cook with us together, so it's hard because we're 3 people and kids. But we have to cook together and plan it, and then there's less food buying, and we go to this original room for pack there
What
and get the
happens
food.
when you get a new girlfriend?
This is gonna
Anyway.
be filmed. Yeah, well, I don't know. I had a kid with one, and so we take care of our kid together, and we're
Yeah.
all one family together.
Yeah.
So I have a little boy, a 3-year-old boy, and she's got a 3-year-old girl. But we decided to just, like I said, pull together, covered wagon style, and just go off. And
But
not-
where is your wife and the children now?
My wife is on tour with her band,
Yeah.
and my child is on a field trip with his little German kindergarten.
Ah,
And his birthday is on Sunday, so when he
Right.
gets back Saturday, we have a party the next day
yeah.
in the park over there.
And her children or her child?
Her child, her daughter's name is Lorca.
But is that your daughter?
We
No,
we raised together, all together, but
Yeah.
they're doing a
Lorca, that's nice.
yeah.
It's the same Spanish name as the poet, isn't
Exactly.
it? Oh, that tragedy for that, what happened to that man.
Total
It's a
tragedy.
wonderful name. It's a nice sounding name for a girl as well.
Yeah, and she wanted
Yeah.
to keep it this gender-free identity. She
okay.
wants to raise them gender-free, so I have to
Oh,
learn to
she's
say
a-
them and
yeah.
they, and
Wow.
that's really difficult for a Latino like me. But
Yeah.
my son's name is Bela, which is even more confusing because he's not Hungarian, he's German and Spanish, and so, but his mom
And
gave
Bela's a Hungarian name, isn't
Yeah,
it? I
Bela.
don't know the name Bela. Who's that?
Bela
named after?
Lugosi, Bela Bartok, Bela
Oh, Bela. B-E.
B-E-L-A.
Oh,
Bela.
no, Bela. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
okay.
not Bella, Bela.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bela. Yeah. No, I thought it was B-A-Y when you said it. B-A-Y-L-A, but Bela. B-E-L-A.
Yeah. That's how I have to
yeah.
pronounce it so
Yeah,
people
no,
understand.
I understand. Yeah.
And so here we have the kitchen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only cold water. To get our soda water, we have our own soda water to make it. And then here's the mezzanine that she built out of recycled wood where our kids sleep.
Wow.
And this is our living room.
It's like a tree house.
They both sleep up there. I'll show you while you're here looking
It's
at
very
it.
exciting for your children,
Yeah,
isn't
it
it?
is.
And I think they must love it here.
They really do, Vivienne. They feel really at home, and I'll show you just a quick.
Great, yeah.
I'll show you a quick picture so you get a reference of them. But yeah, it's hard to get up there. But
Wow.
she did it all of recycled wood. All of this wood, everything was found. None of it
Yeah.
is been bought, except for some of the screws. And even then, she was being very, very specific about that. She didn't want the screws. There's her building it. That's her.
Right, that's her.
That's Katie.
It looks like a bloke.
Yeah, tell me
She
about
looks
it.
great. She looks great.
Yeah, she wanted to meet you, but she's too busy right now.
What is her band called?
Hyenas.
Hyenas.
But she also has a band called Mad Kate.
Called
Mad Kate.
Mad Kate. So she's got 2 bands.
Yeah, I gave her the name Mad Kate because she's yeah, mad.
Yeah, but she's got 2 bands. And which one is she on tour with? Both of them?
Hyenas right now.
Okay,
But I
hyenas.
just want to show you the picture of the kids. This is really, see, that's how we live when dinner time looks like that. But we wash everything there in these buckets right there. And we have to heat the water. And we realize over time, we're having less impact. We're actually no gas,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you know, the heating of course is gas, but we don't use it very often. And hey Colette. Oh, they're the kids. There's Bela and Lorca.
Aren't they lovely? Yeah. Lovely.
And that's when the couches used to be right here.
Yeah.
And then I'll show you the back if you want to see.
Do you have a washing machine?
Yeah.
You do?
We were doing all our washing by hand, and then and that was just, it was ridiculous. Or going over to the laundromat.
Yeah.
And it became a battle.
Yeah, yeah.
It was a sad battle because recycling is very difficult. It can make you very depressed. Not because it's wrong, but because you physically as a human have to retrain yourself to live almost as a caveman a bit. You can't just go down the street and go, I'm gonna recycle this and do it. You have to really, you have to change you have to change. And that's a bit difficult.
Yeah.
You know, it's a bit difficult.
And so, the washing machine, how do you get the hot water from the washing machine?
We have to, we don't use hot water ever.
Yeah.
And with water comes from the bathroom.
Yeah.
And we have to put it into the bathroom. And the washing machine was a gift, so we didn't buy that. And we've done some few adjustments to make it a little bit better, and that's it.
So you wash cold?
Only cold.
Yeah.
And we dry everything here.
Well, that's really great because you can get washing powders that are good for cold wash, can't you, nowadays?
I think so, yeah.
Eat the enzymes or whatever they do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a washing machine, and it's my husband's pet. You know, he uses. I've never used it in my life. I don't wash clothes that often, but anyway, and he often washes cold. For some reason, you don't need it hot all the time. He often uses a cold wash.
Even for socks and underwear, we just soak them a bit longer, but we don't use hot water.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, the long story of it is that I fought with my wife.
I'm going.
No.
I've seen it all, and I think it's really quite impressive.
I've got to give her credit. Thank you.
Let's go.
Check out these little ties. Again, inspired by the trees. The ties are inspired by the trees. These are the branches and the way that it's hanging.
Because your lady that's wearing it, or a man that's wearing it,
Right.
it's not model size. It's quite big.
Yeah, it has to be big. Like I told you at the shop yesterday.
So does it fit all sizes?
Yeah, it fits most sizes. Yeah, up to
Looks
that.
probably really good on a skinny person.
That's how that is. Look, Viv.
Yeah.
Vivienne, sorry.
Anyway, that's it.
That's it.
But it looks great. And you had it all sort of bunched up, which looked good as well. And this silk, or is it nylon?
It's nylon and recycled again from pieces from the market.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Okay, I'll just meet you out front. Lock the door. Thanks for coming.
Let's just mention one thing. Can I just mention it as well? Yeah, we'll just do that again because I know, because I was here for some time, sorry, I know that also in Berlin they have days where people purposely leave all their rubbish on the street and other people can collect it. So is that a special time for you? Yeah.
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 And even when it's raining, it's good because then they're kind of clean.
Yeah.
It's true. They kind of get clean, and then you can rinse them out. Of course, they smell, but then one process of the cleaning has already happened.
Yeah.
Nature's cleaned a bit of the junk, then you have to clean it again, and then you iron it or whatever, treat it. And once it's printed, no one ever knows it's from the street. But
so when it's raining, there's less people having a look at things. Do you prefer it when there's loads of people? Is it exciting, or do you prefer it when it's raining and it's just you and a couple of others?
I think Katie loves it when there's a lot of people. It's a bit exciting to hunt for wood or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't really like it when there's a lot of people, so I kind of like the rain or the more hidden areas. You find something, you stash it under the tree. I'll be right out.
Okay.